review for The Black Phone with Ethan Hawke, directed by Scott Derrickson. So the synopsis: after being abducted and locked in a basement, a boy starts receiving calls on a disconnected phone from the killer's previous victims. So this came out in 2021. I saw it back then. Was a fan of it. I just rewatched it yesterday, and wow, I think this movie's amazing. For me, I think this is one of the best. Yeah, I mean, it's a horror movie. I guess best horror movie. Psychological horror, supernatural horror of the past 10 years, I'd say. So Ethan Hawke is the killer, and he plays this magician who abducts kids. I think it's all boys. So this is written by Joe Hill. Well, it's based on a novel by him, and that's Stephen King's son. His full name is Joseph Hillstrom King. So he changed his pen name. I don't know if I realized that the first time I saw that, but I think you can really see it. So this is just going to be spoilers, full spoilers. I like the movie. I think you should go check it out if you haven't. But spoilers. So I think you could definitely feel like this could fit into a Stephen King movie. Just the way that it uses the supernatural. Like, it's not over the top or anything. It's just kind of right there underneath the surface. And so yeah, I haven't read any Joe Hill, but I think it could fit right in there. And Ethan Hawke is he's one of my favorite actors. I mean, in this, he just does most of the acting with his eyes, because he's wearing this mask, and he's already abducted a number of kids, and they're dead. And then first he abducts a friend of Finney, or two friends. This guy that he plays baseball with, this other guy, I think it's Miguel Mora, who's like his friend. He kind of like protects him. Finney helps him with his math homework. And so like right in the beginning, Finney is being picked on, he's bullied. He actually gets into a fight, and his sister, who's also great in this, Madeline McGraw, Gwen, she even gets scrappy and throws down and fights some of the guys that are beating him up. She hits one of them with a rock. So I really like the interplay between them two. Like, it actually feels like that they're brother and sister, and that they like each other. Their dad is Jeremy Davies. He's been in tons of stuff. He's kind of a weird looking guy, but good actor. Oh yeah, he's in Saving Private Ryan. He's the guy that everyone hates in that movie. But good actor. He's an alcoholic. His wife is dead, so their mother's dead. She had psychological problems, but you get the sense that she had kind of supernatural powers too, that she could dream things that became true. And the daughter has this power too, because she keeps dreaming about the grabber, as he's called, Ethan Hawke. And and then when she talks about it, the dad gets really angry because the wife kind of had similar things going on, but it went really bad for her. And so you can kind of understand his point of view. Which is the thing I like about this movie. I think everyone's point of view you can kind of understand, especially the two kids and the father. Although I think in the beginning of the movie you really don't like the dad because he just drinks a lot. He's kind of mean to them. Um, but then later in the movie, I think he kind of redeems himself. And you can get it because his wife was doing similar things that she is, and it didn't turn out well. So, but so eventually he does grab Finney. He drives around in this black van where he's a magician. So it kind of makes sense that he would wear like a mask. He has these black balloons. And then he gets put in the basement of his house, and there's a black phone disconnected. And Ethan Hawke says it hasn't worked since he was a kid. So it kind of you kind of begin to ask questions of like, well, what does that mean? Like maybe his dad, was a really bad guy and did stuff to him and his brother and beat them. And he also has a brother who's in this movie too, Ethan Hawke. So maybe there's a backstory there, with the father. And for some reason, there's this black phone and it's disconnected. And then throughout the movie, Finney gets calls from kids that are dead, and they're saying, "Do this, don't do this." He wants you to play the game, which is like he'll leave the door unlocked, so then they'll try and escape, and then he'll beat them, and he'll play the game. And the end of the game is he kills them. So they're like, "Don't play the game, don't go upstairs," this type of thing. Eventually, Miguel, who was his friend, calls him and says this is the last call, but take the phone, put dirt in it, and then you're gonna fight him with it. And before this, he started digging this little ditch, almost like a bear fall or a deadfall, where if you fell, you'd like break your ankle. And he's taking dirt, flushing it down the toilet. There's a toilet down there. And one of the calls was to dig a hole to see if you can get through this giant freezer that's on the other side. He can't get through it. There's a bunch of stakes in there, which he uses later with a dog. So I really like it. It's a really tight script. Did Joe Hill write the screenplay? No, Scott Derrickson and C. Robert Cargill, who helped write Sinister, Doctor Strange, Sinister 2. Okay. Some of this does remind me of Sinister a little bit, but I think this is better. Definitely the look of the movie kind of has a Sinister feel. But I think this is better, but yeah, I think it's a really good script. It's very tight. There's really no fat I could see that you would cut off. The last like 20 minutes is pretty amazing when he fights him, and then Ethan Hawke ends up falling for his trick because he runs around the little hole that he's dug. He falls in it. He breaks his ankle. He brought a dog down there, and he distracts the dog with one of the steaks that was in the freezer. So it's all being used in the last part of the movie. So I think I think that's a good sign of a good screenplay. And he does all this because he ends up killing his brother, because his brother finds out that the kid's down there. And that's maybe one part of the movie that it just doesn't really, it just stands out, I guess I'd say. because Max James Ransone plays the brother. He's like trying to track down the grabber, and he lives kind of in the. It's almost like the house is like in two parts, and he's in one part, and then Ethan Hawke's in the other part, and then there's a door that leads down to the basement, and he's like doing drugs on the other in the other house, and he has this map where he has it all mapped out where the grabber is, and he's trying to find him. The cops even come to his house and talk, and they're kind of talking to everyone in the neighborhood, and he says, "Oh, my brother's at work," and they talk to him, and he's like really into finding the grabber, but they're just kind of like, okay, this guy's just doing drugs, and we're not going to take him seriously, so they just leave. But I don't know, just something about his character. And then, like I said, spoilers, later he just kind of realizes, I'm going to go check the basement, because he knows about the basement, because as Ethan Hawke says, it hasn't worked since he was a kid. So I assume that he was maybe down there, maybe his dad. I just assumed that the dad maybe was up to no good. I don't know. I think that's why the line's in it. So, and he finds Finney, but then Ethan Hawke, of course, returns right at the same time and kills him with an axe. I don't know. That whole part that's the one part that just doesn't quite fit. But that makes Ethan Hawke really angry. He's like, "Look what I had to do. Look what you made me do." And now he's going to finish the job. But that's when Finney fights back, and then obviously he falls in that hole. That's a scene I really like too, because when he's in the hole, then he hears the phone ring. Finney goes, gets the phone, puts it up to his ear, and then I think it's Miguel that says, uh, basically, now Finney's going to kill you, and then he strangles him. So, although I guess there's a sequel they're talking about making, I'm not sure how you do that, but there is supernatural elements in this, so maybe the grabber could, kind of live on as a ghost or something. If you've seen Sinister, that kind of involves a ghost, so it's not like Scott Derrickson would be against that, but I don't know, apparently. Throughout all of this, Madeline McGraw is trying to find Finney. She has these dreams, and in one of them she finally is able to track where this guy lives, or where she thinks he lives. She does. She's able to convince the police, and she even gets her dad on her side, even though he doesn't like these supernatural powers. Really good performance by her and the father too, even though he has this like weird haircut where it's like a mullet kind of. But really good though. um and yeah, and I like how the brother and the sister both have things to do. The sister finds a house, but it happens to be right across the street from the other house, because he owns two houses, and this house is basically abandoned, but he buries the bodies in the basement. And the house he's in, where the brother is, Ethan Hawke's brother that he killed, he that's the basement with the black phone where Finney is. So I like how how his sister, it finds the house with all the bodies, because it makes sense, because she kind of is clairvoyant, connected to dead people. That's where all their bodies are. They raid the house, and then they find the basement, but they're like, oh, where's Finney? But then Finney at the same time is beating up Ethan Hawke, and I assume kills him. Pretty sure he does. And then he escapes. So yeah, just really tight. I like how both the brother and sister have things to do, and it's kind of like you know two parts of a coin. But Yeah, really good chemistry between the brother and sister and the father. Ethan Hawke gives a great performance, even though he's wearing this mask. Really well designed and creepy mask. And there's like different parts of it. Sometimes it's doesn't have a mouth, sometimes it does. Sometimes he just wears the bottom part. I guess it's all part of what part of the game he's playing. So the paperboy is a reference to Johnny Gosh, a paperboy from Iowa who was on a route with his dog Gretchen and disappeared. His dog was found later, but Johnny's disappearance remains unsolved to this day. The grabber donned several creepy masks throughout the film, each exposing different portions of his face. They were designed by legacy prosthetic makeup artist Tom Savini. Mason Thames, well, that's cool. Great work there. Mason Thames said that this is the first time he saw the mask, coupled with Ethan Hawke's bone-chilling performance. He was terrified. The grabber is a clown in the short story, but Hill himself suggested in a post-Stephen King It world they couldn't keep that and should instead switch him to a magician. Yeah, I think that's smart. Early drafts of the script also described the masks as leather ones with a smile or a frown. Scott Derrickson knew that they'd be the centerpiece of the film's marketing, so he spent a lot of time designing it. The movie was delayed initially from January 2022 to June 2022. Oh, it's Blumhouse. Executive producer Jason Blum sent Derrickson a black phone and a display case after reading the script and giving the film the green light. Derrickson moved into a new house in 2021, and Blum secretly had a black phone mounted on the wall of the new house's basement. I was just sitting in my living room and I heard a phone ring in the basement. I was like, oh my God. He discovered that Blum had set it to speed dial his cell phone whenever it was lifted from the cradle. Oh, wow. That's kind of cool. Ethan Hawke went as his character from The Grabber for Halloween in 2022. The script was written in 6 weeks. The film was shot in 33 days. No way. Wow. That's impressive. I mean, there's not that many people in the movie, but, they show him in high school, him with, well, he doesn't really have many friends, but with the bullies that constantly bully him, that's pretty impressive. Derrickson sees the film as more of a paranormal thriller than straight horror, as it relies more on suspense than terror. I think that's subjective, though, and everybody would have their own answer to that question. Well, it's definitely paranormal. I mean, what's up with his sister and the phone? And, he digs a hole in the wall and finds this giant freezer that he can't get through, but that's because someone on the phone told him, that's all paranormal. So the grabber uses black balloons to abduct his victims, is reminiscent of the painting of the daughter does on her bedroom wall in Sinister, which features a figure holding black balloons. Yeah, there's even this thing on the wall. It almost looks like blood in a line. And in Sinister, they kind of have that. So you can see a connection to that. It's been a while since I've seen Sinister, but I thought it was okay. I think this is definitely better. So, but I mean that's about it though. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Madeline McGraw lost her voice during filming the beating scene. Oh, that's where her dad spanks her, I think, because she threatens to drop a bottle of vodka, and then she does, and then that angers him. I also like at the end the dad just kind of when they're both there in the ambulance, the dad kind of puts his head down and like says like to like please forgive me. Like I like I haven't been acting like myself. So yeah, I don't have many complaints. I mean, like I said, it's just the one with his brother. I don't know. I just don't really buy that. He's like just realizes that, oh, my brother's a grabber maybe, and I'm gonna go to the basement. Well, why didn't you check out the basement earlier? But whatever. It's not that big of a deal. So, but yeah, if you haven't seen it, check it out. I think it's a very good movie. Apparently, they're gonna do a sequel. How much did it make? 161 million on a budget of 16 to 18 million. Wow. Man, it seems like if you're gonna get into Hollywood, man, if you're gonna be a producer in Hollywood, that's the way to do it. Like the Blumhouse. I mean, love them or hate them, you know, smart. Produce a horror movie for 10, 15 million, make over 100 million. Instead of like what you see with like these massive blockbusters, cost 300 million to make. Like apparently Gladiator 2 costs over $300 million. I mean, and who's asking for that movie, Gladiator 2? Like, I think the first one kind of summed it up well. Like, I don't think you need a sequel, but whatever. Oh yeah, so Scott Derrickson, a good director, but I haven't seen his Marvel stuff. So I haven't seen Doctor Strange. Oh, he did Snowpiercer. Oh, the TV series. I don't know. I thought that movie was okay. I think it was amazing. Wow, Scott Derrickson did The Day the Earth Stood Still, the remake. Isn't that pretty bad? But I don't know. Maybe there's studio interference in that. Who knows? Hellraiser, Inferno, Exorcism of Emily Rose. That's good. That's a really good exorcism movie. Day the Earth Stood Still, Sinister, Deliver Us from Evil, Doctor Strange, The Black Phone. Did a segment in VHS 85. I haven't seen that. And then Ethan Hawke, obviously, long career. Maybe the first time I was aware of him was in Training Day, but he's amazing in that. But solid actor. I've never really seen him give a bad performance, honestly. Predestination, the movie is a movie he's in. That's a good movie. Should rewatch that. He's in Total Recall, the remake. But Lord of War, Training Day, Alias. He's in tons of stuff. So, but yeah, Black Phone, great performances. I think it's very well directed, based on a short story by Joe Hill. Solid movie. If you could do me a favor and smash that like button, that'd be great. Really helps the channel. And I think that's about it, though. I'll see you next time.